again, my little yarnivores and spiderettes. Fiber Spider back again with another tutorial just for you. And today I'm going to show you a little something I call the Bloomin' Granny Motif. Very, very simple. A lot of fun. It's a great stash buster and it's perfect for this time of year when spring is sprung and the flowers are in bloom. And that's why I'm inspired to do this. Yes, I have seen variations, but this is my own personal twist on it. It is so easy. It is connected in the join as you go manner. It's just 2 rounds per motif, and it creates a really awesome, lovely texture. It's lacy, it's simple, great stash buster. Me personally, for this project, I used Lion Brand's Ice Cream in the colorway of Neapolitan, and they were kind enough to send me the yarn for this project. Thank you, Lion Brand. This video is not sponsored, but they did provide the yarn. Now, for this particular project, I decided on a shawl. You can, of course, make whatever you want just by adding more of these little motifs together. So it could be in a square, a rectangle, a triangular shape. Very, very simple. And going to show you how I did it. Now, this being a weight of 3 yarn, I used a size H. Where's the letter? There we go. A size H 5mm hook. You can, of course, use whatever works best for you, by all means. But without further ado, let's get started. Alrighty. So to begin with, we're going to make ourselves a slip knot. And it is going to begin very much like an ordinary granny square. So after you do your slip knot, chain up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and slip stitch to the first chain to create a ring. You can, of course, use the magic ring method, but this I think works just fine. So after creating your ring, chain up 3, 1, 2, 3, and 2 more double crochets into that ring to create our first cluster of 3 double crochets. That chaining up of 3 counts as the first double. And we need 3 more clusters of 3 double crochets. So chain 3 for our corner space, and then into the ring, 3 more doubles. It's 1 and 2 and 3. Chain 3. 3 more doubles. Also, if you do want to use yarn from your stash, I would strongly suggest using the same material as well as the same weight of yarn. Otherwise, the motifs will actually be slightly different in size. So use the same weight of yarn, preferably also the same material. Whether it's acrylic, stick with acrylic. If it's a wool, stick with wool. Otherwise, you may run into problems. Chain 3 and 3 more double crochets into the center. And last but not least, chain 3 and slip stitch to the top 3rd chain. Like so. And that is the end of round 1. Okay, round 2. Usually I do my little clicker round counter, but since it's only 2 rounds, I think we can make an exception for this video. So for round 2, going to slip stitch into the next 2 double crochets and into the corner chain space, because that's where we need to start for round 2. So just slip stitch, and slip stitch. Okay, now for round 2, basically it amounts to 10 double crochets into each of our corner spaces. So chain up 3 and 9 more doubles into this corner space. So we've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And of course, I am going to double count because, well, that's what I do. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Perfect. Okay. So then going immediately from this corner, no chains in between, go into the next corner with 10 doubles. Okay, it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Go into the next corner with 10 doubles. It's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Go into the next corner with, 10 doubles. So we've got 2. Need some more yarn already. These motifs are extremely simple and really, really quick, although, yes, they do take a fair amount of yarn considering their size. So, but not nearly as bad as, say, the crocodile stitch or the Bavarian. So we've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then to finish your motif, slip stitch into that top third chain and voila. Now, here's the thing about the join as you go method, especially with this particular project. You're only really, you're starting off with one motif, right? Well, but then all of the rest of the motifs are going to be joined to this first motif. And you just keep going and going and going. You can't, in this particular instance, make all of your motifs and then join them. No, you have to join them as you are creating them. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that, not to worry. So I have over here an example already. Now, what I did was actually, I started with this motif here, and then I added this one here and this one here. I'm going to add another one to it, and also I'm going to show you how you can add a motif in a corner space so that we could have a block of 4, or going directly out to the side like I did with this one here. Also, how to create a half motif. So if you want to fill in the gap, you can do that as well. So let us continue on with the joining process. Alrighty. Okay, so to do the join as you go method, what I did was actually I undid the majority of the motif that I was working on earlier to show you how you can join your motifs together. So after doing your first round and doing one corner of your second round, now is the ideal time to start your joining. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to join to the bottom of this motif right here. Basically what it amounts to is you're joining in between the shell spaces. So we've got the shell here, shell space here, and the shell space right here. not to go in between the shells. No, you're working within just this one motif right here. So we're going to connect here and here with slip stitches. I'll show you what I mean. So after doing your first shell of 10 doubles, back to back, because this is the front side, so back to back, and slip stitch into the space in between. Now there's no chain there. That way it's nice and stable, if you will. So going to do a slip stitch right into here. There we go. That connects it. Then into this next chain space, 10 doubles. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Then, okay, so we did a slip stitch into this space. Now it's into this space. So slipping into this space right here, slip stitch. There you go. And then finish up the motif just as we had by doing 10 doubles into the next chain space. So we've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Let me show you what we've done. So because they were sandwiched together back to back when we did our slip stitch, then our 10 doubles, and our slip stitch, it makes them raised, separate yet raised. Now there are ways of joining them together, but I think that they look really awesome as sort of flippy floppy flower petals. I personally really like that. And then we continued on with our 10 doubles here, and we need 10 more here to finish the motif. So let's do that. So we've got 1 and 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And like I said before, slip stitch to this first top double crochet chain, slip stitch. Okay, so we added one more motif, and now I'm going to show you how to add a motif in the corner. It's a little bit more tricky, but it totally works. And then I'm going to show you how to create a half motif if you want to do a triangular shape. All right, so let me prep another square, another motif for you, and I will be right back. Okay. All right, so to fill in a corner space, all you need to do is, well, have a pre-existing corner, and I already started my next motif. I did round 1, did the first shell of the second round. So basically what this amounts to is we're going to do a slip stitch into this space into this space, then hop, skip, and a jump over to this space, and then continue on and do a slip stitch into that space. I'll walk you through it. It's quite all right. We can do this. So, as I said, do your first round in your first shell. Then it's really easiest if you sort of turn this over, at least initially, because it does need to be sandwiched back to back. So going to go into this first space right in here. So slip stitch. Here we are. And then into this chain space, 10 doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so then, like I said, we're going to have to do 2 slip stitches back to back, which is going to be this one right here, and then this one right here. Again, leaving this one out of it. Otherwise, there's going to be a lot of slip stitches going on. So don't forget, we do have our sandwich going on here because we did that one last. So slip stitch into this space right here. Okay, and then going directly across to this chain space, slip stitch. And then going into the next of our chain spaces with 10 doubles. So that's 2, 3, 4. And before I go any further, I'm going to show you exactly how it looks from the top. Because we did our first slip stitch and then into the corner of this motif here, and then scoot that out of the way, and then into the corner of this motif. You can see where we joined. Okay. Sort of like dealing with a flat Rubik's Cube, if you will. So we've got 4 doubles, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then, again, making sure that our motifs are back to back. Slip stitch in the space. There we are. And then finish up the motif, going into that last chain 3 space with 10 doubles. We've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Slip stitch to the top 3rd chain of our first double crochet. And we have filled in a corner with our new motif. So again, to recap, we started it, got our first shell there, sandwich together, slip stitch, 10 doubles, slip stitch, 10 doubles, slip stitch, 10 doubles, and slip stitch to finish. And that is how you can create many levels and tiers of motifs all joined together nice and pretty. Now, what if you want to create a half motif? Because like for instance, what if you didn't want this going all flippy floppy around and you wanted to fill in this triangular shape? Well, there is a way that it can be done by creating half of a motif. And I'll give you a nice up close look of what that looks like right here. So what I did for the top edge of my shawl, what I did was I created a half motif, because otherwise these motifs, this one and this one, they wouldn't be connected, and they would be just sort of flippy floppy around even more so, and it wouldn't have a nice clean edge like this presently has. So you can do that if you want to. You can leave it flippy floppy, but if you want the option, here is the option. So now I'm going to show you how you can create a cute little half motif to fill in the gaps. Alrighty. All right, so for the half motif, going to be a slightly different process to begin with because, well, we're dealing with half of the motif. So going to start off with, of course, a slip knot and a chaining up of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, instead of doing the ring or the magic loop method, we're going to use that first chain as our ring. And so we're going to go right in with 3 double crochets into that first chain. 1 and 2 and 3. Then chain 2 and another double crochet. Now you might be asking yourselves, well, what happened to the chaining of 3? Well, I found that this actually comes out a little bit neater if you reduce the number of chains involved. So that being said, that is the sort of first row, round, whatever you want to call it, for the half motif. All right, so then to continue on, chain up 2, turn your work, and grab your pre-existing work. And so we're going to create a half motif, so it's going to end at an angle here. So we're going to basically do a slip stitch join into this space, do our 10 doubles, then into this space, then into this space, we have our slip stitches, then 10 doubles, slip stitch join, and that's it actually. It's very simple once you understand where exactly it is that we're going into. So into here, 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 and then here. Okay, so again, sandwiching. And again, I only chained up 2 because again, I think it looks just a little bit neater. So after chaining up 2, slip stitch into this first space in between here. There we go. And then into our chain 2 space, 10 doubles. Oh, sorry, 9 doubles because we already did 1 here. So a total of 10, excuse me. So we've got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, then, so we joined into here, so now we have to join into here. Again, sandwiching, back to back, slip stitch. There we are. And then slip stitch into the next. There we go. And continue on by doing 10 doubles into the rest of our motif, that second space of the half motif that we're working on. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. And before I go any further, let me sort of lay it out and show you exactly what it was that we were doing there. So we joined here after doing our initial setup and our chaining of 2, slip stitch join, then 10 doubles, and then slip stitch join, slip stitch join, you can see right there. And then we're working on our 10 doubles now. So we've got 4 doubles so far. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Then to finish up our half motif, again, back to back, and slip stitch join into this space right here. And there you go. So now you can actually create angled shapes if you so choose, if you want to fill in the gaps. So you can connect them going straight out, you can fill in a corner, and you can fill in the little gappy bits if you want to do angles as well. And that is exactly what I did for the top edge of my shawl. And of course you can sew in your ends. Also, yes, strongly suggest that when you are working on a project with all of these motifs, sew in your ends as you go. I cannot stress that enough, because otherwise it will be a tangled mess, and they sneak up on you, trust me. So, also, another thing, because I do get asked quite often, how much yarn will I need for my project? Well, after doing these motifs right here and my shawl as well, this little ball that I have right here is the last that I have of a second skein of the Lion Brand's Ice Cream Big Scoops. Now, those skeins are, I believe, about 1,200 yards. Yes, because the vast majority of your stitching is actually in these petals, not in the center. So yes, you do need to make a lot of these motifs, but the results are gorgeous. At least I think so. So listen, everybody, I do hope that you enjoyed this tutorial and its thoroughness, because now you can create these motifs in any which way you like, whether it's up, down, left, right, or center. And if you did like this video, please give a little thumbs up button down below. And again, thank you to Lion Brand for supplying me with the yarn. Love the colorway, absolutely gorgeous. And stay subscribed for more videos, because I'm always posting as often as I can, whether it's crocheting or knitting or audiobook narrations, or of course my other YouTube channel, Fiber Spider Games, where I do video game playthrough and commentary would love to see you there too. It's a lot of fun. So until next time, you know what to do. Stay inspired, stay caffeinated, stay stitching, and please stay safe. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you in my next video. Bye for now, everybody, and have a good day.